All right, welcome to the first episode of Making Life Cinematic. This will be a weekly series, and here on YouTube, I'm going to be documenting the behind the scenes and my process from my planning, shoot day, post-production, color grading, everything kind of involved. Nothing too much in depth, we're just going to go a brief kind of overview, and I will do some videos down the track, diving a bit further into some of those elements. But for now, we're just going to do a brief overview. So I'm going to jump straight into the first video. This one is from a shoot I did about a month ago up in Landsland, which is about an hour and a half north of Perth. This shoot was planned by my friend Eva. She had the idea in mind that she wanted to do a DUNE inspired shoot. And so this shoot was inspired by the movie DUNE. She did all the styling for it. She found clothes and stuff for it that suited the vibe. And we headed up to Landsland for sunrise. Had to leave really early. Didn't get any behind the scenes, and I'll explain why. When we arrived there, it was extremely windy. So it was kind of out of the picture to be filming any behind the scenes. It was a struggle to film as it was. It was incredible for the shots, but it was like the most horrible environment to be in. Feeling absolutely sandblasted, sand in every crevice. It was painful. Well and truly worth it for the shots we ended up getting. So we'll dive straight into DaVinci and I'll kind of walk you through just the general process. Obviously, I've already done this shoot. So we're just going to go through how I have already edited it, and I might just start a new timeline and kind of show you how I would pull the clips in and go from there. And yeah, we'll jump straight into it. All right, first things first, just create a new timeline. We'll just name this timeline shoot, and we'll hit create. Now I'll head over to the cut page, and from here, I have all of my clips already imported into my library. If you don't, you can import them by just hitting Command I on Mac, and it'll pull up your media storage, and you can grab the clips from there. Otherwise, I think it's maybe Control I on Windows. By the way, I'm also using DaVinci for all of my editing. That's the software that I edit all of my projects in, so that's what I'll be doing all my work in, is DaVinci Resolve. I have the studio version, but just about all of what I do, you can do in the free version as well. So don't need to pay at all for DaVinci, which is great just to get started. So to start with, I'll just go through, start from the top, and I'll just scrub through and find little segments of the clip that I like. When I find the segment that I like, I'll hit I to mark the in point, and then I'll play through and then hit O to mark the out point. And then I can just hit this button here, which is the append, and it'll drop it straight down on the end of my timeline. I've also created a shortcut for that, which you can do quite easily by just going up to your preferences and hitting keyboard customization. And you can create shortcuts for just about anything in DaVinci, which is super handy when you start using the same commands over and over. You just create a shortcut for it and it speeds up your process a lot. I won't bore you with going through always selecting all these clips. I'll just jump straight down to once I've already selected all the clips, and then I'll jump over into the color grading page and show you how I would grade these. All right, so now that we're over in the color grading page, what I'll do is I'll drop the grade that I built out already. As you can see, I've already got a few stills here from when I graded this project before. I'll drop the grade on, and then I will start back at the beginning and kind of show you how I built up the levels. I'm not going to go into too much depth. As I said, color grading, there's a lot for this. I might create a whole series of videos just on color grading down the line. For now, it's going to go really brief. So this is the grade. I'll just turn all of these nodes off and we'll kind of start from the beginning. Here, we start with our flat footage. This is C-Log3. I shoot on the Canon R5, and this was all shot at 4K, 100 frames a second. So this is flat footage. I'll then drop on Rec. 7 and conversion at the end of my node tree, and then I work back. I start at the beginning. First thing I do is my exposure. So I just correct my exposure, get that looking roughly right, and then just a slight tweak on the white balance. Again, getting that just looking kind of how it was when I shot it. And next I'll add, okay, I have these nodes labeled the wrong way around. This grade took me a bit to kind of build up. So next, this node is contra. This node here is basically the look that I created. Again, this is a lot to go into, so I won't delve into it. Mostly this is all built out. Most of the work is all done in the curves here and my color wheels. As you can see, that's kind of the real creative look. I spent quite a while. I was using this image here as a frame of reference from the movie for my color. This is kind of the the colors end up coming with. And then here we just have our final tweaks, essentially just hue, saturation, lumens of colors here. As you can see, not much done there, just a few little tweaks just to make the image pop out a bit more. That's the final grade look that I went for. I can then grab a still by just right clicking. With that still, I can now just drag and drop that onto other clips. As you can see, that looks pretty good. I might adjust the exposure slightly, but I don't need to do much. Pretty happy with that as is. Grab that still, drop that one on here potentially. Looks pretty good. Maybe just bring up the gain a little. Oh, and I didn't mention before, noise reduction here. I have this note if I need it. I'll only toggle that on just before I'm going to export, because if you toggle it before, when you're trying to render through and play through your timeline, it slows things down dramatically. So I'll only toggle it on later. So generally just leave that turned off and only use it if I need it. I just have that kind of built into my grades for ease of not having to create each time. Then though, sometimes you go drag grade on and this doesn't really look how I want it to look. So then I might have to go in and really have a play with this one. Sometimes you can do it just with exposure. See, that hasn't taken too much and I'm a lot happy with that. Probably bring somewhere around there. That's the final grade I'm going with. So I think I brought up the warmth a little bit and things pretty close. Same thing, just going through. I can just drag and drop. Obviously, I've played around with this a bit and that was the end up looking. I went for that one. Again, I won't bore you with all of this. It's just a bit of trial and error going through, making a few small tweaks once you've got that generic look that you can copy and paste onto each clip. Next, I'll just jump across straight into the actual final edit that I did. So this was the final edit. As you can see, these are the grades that I ended up with. Listened through so much of the DUNE soundtrack, absolutely loved the music. Selected a song from that, ended up going with this one, which was A Time of Quiet Between Storms. Absolutely beautiful piece. I'll just play the first little bit of it. Just has super impactful, really cinematic. It's just a beautiful piece. So I chose that as it felt like it really gave the feeling that I wanted for this video. And then it was just a matter of going through, ordering my clips, essentially cutting those to match with beats in the song so that there's a bit of flow to it and it gives that continuity. This shot was obviously my hero shot. Really just incredible composition. It's really striking. So I really wanted this to hit like right on that beat. And so that was like kind of the hook, I guess, of the video. Then the rest of these, I just tried to tell a story with the way I cut between shots, going from tight to detail shots to wides, giving depth and kind of immersing people into it. Other than that, I've just added a small amount of desert wind sound in the background just to, as you know, it was very windy there, so they really captured that. And on top, I've added a few of Jackson Roberts' light leaks overlays. As you can see here, this one I've just added in a little overlay here. That's without it, that's with it. Very subtle, but it just gives it a little bit of extra pop. Yeah, I think it just adds to it. And I've done again here. This one actually starts on the first clip, then carries across into the second clip. And another one here. And then I've also managed to make this kind of loop. So I found a point in the track where it kind of naturally looped, or where I could create a loop out of it. Then I cut this clip, the first starting clip, in half, put the last half at the beginning and the first half at the end. And so when I play from here, I'll show you that if I play from here, it loops through. Obviously there's a little blinker flash, the black there, which I need to trim out. It's just like one frame of black, and I'll trim that out. That's essentially how I edited that piece. I hope you guys learned a little bit from that. It's a very brief kind of run through of my process. The next video I do, I will be trying, I've got some more BTS so I'll give a bit more of that side of what it's like actually shooting. Now this was just a bit more on the post-production, and this one, I really focused on creating a really creative look with this one. So that was the point of this, and I'm really happy with the result with it. But I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on it. Going forward, the series is looking to be a variety of educational / kind of insightful into what my life's actually like as a videographer, what I get up to. Hopefully can be somewhat entertaining, educational, have a laugh, whatever. But yeah, that's it for now. See you in the next one. Cheers.